just getting so much anxiety about going home for the holidays. Oh, fuck, yeah, seeing my family was rough this year. But then it's like, am I overreacting? And that gives me more anxiety. What do you mean? It's not like my parents beat us or anything. Oh, you think that because it's not physical abuse or something overt that it's not valid trauma? Yeah, I guess. Did they yell at you? I mean, yelling can be just as damaging as hitting. No, that's not it. So what is it then? It's just going back home brings up a lot of emotions from being a kid. Sure. I mean, they raised us in a belief system that I always had issues with, and the more I've educated myself and grown, the further away from that I've moved. You had to hide who you were as a kid. I felt smothered, and like everyone around us was living their lives, and we were just kind of watching the world go by. And then that all comes back. Yeah, that's still trauma. Is it though? Yeah, just because it's not the big headline abuse or trauma doesn't mean it's not trauma. I mean, that literally drives people to self-end. Yeah, but like people whose parents put cigarettes out on them or like punched them, they dealt with so much. Stop it. Don't do that. Comparing doesn't help anyone. Other people's trauma, no matter what it was, doesn't have an effect on your trauma. Comparing just makes it harder. But they're also trying their hardest, and they're so nice and loving, and I know they have their own issues from their childhood. Yeah, I mean, it's healthy to see your parents as humans too, and their side of the story, but only to an extent. It's not an excuse for you to ignore your limits. But then again, they do a lot of like self-doubt, which really added to the smothered feeling. Plus, I know I'm the black sheep because I turned my back on our upbringing. Well, okay, if they were trying their best, would they try to make you feel like the black sheep? But that's the thing, they don't. I just grew up in that belief system, and I know that my views now to them are the literal source of evil in this world. The house is just plastered with reminders, and that's what I'm saying is they're so nice. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Do you tell them how you feel? I'm terrible at it. I feel like I'm supposed to protect them, and I don't feel that way about other people, but with my parents, you try just ignoring it. And then I snap and I say something I regret, or quite honestly, I'm holding myself up so I don't pass out. Do you think some boundaries would help? I don't know. It feels like I say we're not going to church and... Okay, so here's an example. COVID. Part of the family's upset with me because we set boundaries around COVID because we have kids and they weren't taking it as serious as we were. Oh, yeah, we don't want to bring the kids to church because that's not an environment we want to raise them in. And since you guys aren't getting vaccinated, we're not going to bring the kids around until we can get them vaccinated. It feels like you're judging them. Yes. That's one of the reasons setting boundaries can be so difficult, because it feels like you're passing judgment on someone else's lifestyle. Sucks. Yeah, but you gotta do it. So how do I make it less judgmental? I had a panic attack in the Home Depot parking lot last week when I went home, so I have no fucking idea.